עוצמת השמש כעומק הים לא אדע לעולם, לא אדע לעולם כי לעולם לא אדע לעולם מהו סוד הנפש וסוד האדם כעוצמת השמש כעומק הים לא אדע לעולם, לא אדע לעולם.
Jazz 88.3 in the new Jazz Thing. Music there from Avishai Cohen and his 2009 release, Aurora. Joining us this evening to chat about that and his upcoming date in San Diego is the musician himself, Avishai Cohen. Avishai, thanks for joining us tonight on the new Jazz Thing.
Sure.
Where are you coming to us from tonight, Avishai?
From Yoshi's, California, Oakland.
And you're playing there on what looks like a little bit of a West Coast swing, including, I believe, Portland and Los Angeles?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the band that you're going to be bringing into San Diego coming up next week at the San Diego Jewish Music Series.
It's the band that is on Aurora, which is Amos Hoffman on oud and guitar, and Itamar Douari on percussion, Shai Maestro on piano, Karen Malka on vocals, and myself on bass and vocals.
And as you said, this is the band that put together Aurora, that you built for Aurora. It includes some members of your trio that you played with previous to that. What is the focus of your upcoming show here in San Diego? The music from this latest release?
Yes, already some newer music too. That release and music that I've just recorded a month ago that's going to be released in a few months, because Aurora has been out for a while already, but mainly from those two, yeah.
And then tell us a little bit then, just to provide some context. Aurora was a bit of a change from your previous release,
Yes.
Gently Disturbed, which was a trio release. Tell us a little bit about the direction you were heading with Aurora.
Aurora is like taking the Gently and adding vocals to it. It's still my music compositionally, but and I did do a few singer-songwriter type of things there, which I'm not performing as much as the other stuff with. But I still, right now, there's a combination between Aurora and my previous stuff live. But Aurora is definitely a change where there's vocals and there's songs and lyrics and even a few languages like Spanish and English and Hebrew. So it's very diverse in that sense, though it all comes together in the composition and the voices that presented.
And it's not a traditional straight-ahead jazz approach. Also, your music brings in many different influences. You grew up in Israel. You moved to St. Louis and played in New York. Tell us a little bit about how all of those different influences come together to make the music that you're making these days.
Well, I think it all came together in New York when I was in New York. It's a funny thing. My long stay in New York brought all the influences that I grew up with, whether Middle Eastern or classical or Latin or jazz, together in this fusion that is what I do. So, New York is like this, almost like a mid-ground,
Mm-hmm.
where you can explore everything about yourself and make it into one.
And another aspect of another couple different aspects of Aurora, you moved away from just kind of a straight drum kit to more of a percussion base where you're doing some other different things. How does that? What were you attempting to do in that kind of a move?
Well, it's a good thing that you detected there. It's very important and very true. It's one of the biggest changes in my music in the last 2 years is Itamar Douari adding this new color with percussion and not having this straight ahead, you can say, or the drum kit type of bass drum snare thing. It's more of an organic, very personal and delicate way that he chooses to to play the music. So my music took a shift in that sense too. That's very true, and a very good shift, I must say.
And also, this seemed to be a branching out or a flowering of your vocal work on this new one. Is that also correct? Why were you kind of pushing that part of it?
Well, it's something. It's not that I'm pushing it. It's just a natural thing. I've been singing in the last 5 to 6 years since I moved back to live in Tel Aviv in Israel. I've been singing more and more, and I felt that it would be unfair for me to do it only at home and then do just instrumental for people. As I have evolved into something different, where the voice is very important for me now, because it gets me to deep. I don't know if deeper, but deeper in some ways, and more intimate places in the creation of the music and the way I deliver it. That I feel I owe giving it, because that's what I'm doing. I don't only do instrumental music anymore. It's a part of my daily routine, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the voice, once I started singing, I couldn't. Now I can't do it without it, because it intertwines with bass playing. My bass playing and my singing now is something that's very natural to me.
Right. We're chatting this evening with Avishai Cohen, who's playing this coming Monday here in San Diego as part of the San Diego Jewish Music Series at the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center. When you're playing a date for what might be a more Jewish-centric audience, for something like the San Diego Jewish Music Series, do you adjust the music that you're playing as opposed to a date that you would be playing at more standard jazz like Yoshi's?
Great question. We don't. We usually, our Jewish dates are very limited. Out of 100%, I do like 3% Jewish connotated gigs. I mean, of course, Israelis and Jews come to my shows everywhere in the world, but I do very little of that. So we just play what we play, and it doesn't matter who we play for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mixture of all of what we do.
So do you at all feel like one of your missions or goals is to take some of the music that you grew up with in Israel and that you're now kind of surrounded by again in the Middle East, and providing a jazz context to it, or expanding it in that way? Is that something that you think about?
Yeah, I mean, jazz is what connects everything that I know. Jazz is the realm that I'm still known by or recognized by, because no matter what I do with the music, I always improvise, at least in a lot of parts.
Mm-hmm. So
the freedom just connects everything. It's in and out all the time, out of more pop, more classical, more Latin, more free, more. It's in and out of this cell that is very strongly rooted from composition.
Mm-hmm. Another aspect of your music that I wanted to touch on, and that is very evident on Aurora, is the fact that in your singing, you're singing in at least 4 different languages: Hebrew,
right,
English, Ladino, and Spanish. Is that a conscious thing, or is it the songs that you're doing relate themselves to that language, or are you really trying to kind of branch that out?
Not too much consciousness in a lot of it, but not too much thinking involved. Just a natural thing where those are songs that I love, and they all go together because I treated them either by arranging them or composing them, so they relate in that sense. Other than that, their language is a big gift to sing in different languages, because it's different music that comes out of different languages. Mm-hmm. Every language has its own music, which is incredible by itself.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that on these dates that you're playing these days are music from Aurora, but also some newer music. Can you give us some idea contrasting the music from Aurora with the new stuff and the directions you're heading?
It's the same. It's some of the same, but I've just written new compositions that you'll have to hear. I can't explain too much about it. It's something that has to be witnessed.
Then I also wanted to, as we're kind of nearing the end of our time here, is talk about where you're going in future things. Can you give us some insight in some of the projects that you're working on? And we know that you've got an upcoming disc, as you've said, coming out.
Yes.
Other things that you're working on?
Other things pretty much this takes so much of my time just to do my own project that it's pretty much it. I've been asked to collaborate on some Spanish with a Spanish artist, a great singer, flamenco singer. I might do it, I might not. I don't know if I have the time, but there's always something else that I'm offered to do. The question is if I can.
Well, Avishai, can you tell folks where they can find out more about your music and get connected with you?
They can go to my website, AvishaiCohen.com, which is AvishaiCohen.com. And, always find out there or MySpace or whatever, wherever else. But my website would be the best place to know where I'm playing always and what records I got out and what music to get or not.
And we're going to conclude here with the title track from your release, Aurora. Any particular thoughts on this composition that we're going to hear as we go out?
That's just a composition that came out of me pretty naturally, and it's one of those gifts. I felt very grateful for it.
Excellent. Well, Avishai, thank you very much for spending some time with us before your gig here and your gig up there in San Francisco, and we look forward to seeing you down here this coming Monday.
Thank you, man.
Avishai Cohen on the New Jazz Thing. He's playing at the San Diego Jewish Music Series this coming Monday, October 25th at 7 p.m. at the Lawrence Family Jewish Community Center. From his disc Aurora, this is the title track on the New Jazz Thing, Jazz 88.3.